Months since the Pennsylvania primary, Senator Clinton's main electability argument has been that, as she so indelicately phrased it, white working-class voters would not support Senator Obama in the general election. Last night's exit polls out of Oregon proving that Senator Obama does not seem to have a white working-class voter problem as much as he has an Appalachia problem. Senator Obama very competitive among working-class whites in Oregon, which is just the 23rd ranked state in per capita income. He won nearly half of their vote in Oregon, almost equaling his performance in Wisconsin, where he first broke through with a big primary victory in a predominantly white state. In Kentucky last night, just 1 in 5 white working class voters having backed him. In Oregon, fewer than a third said that the Illinois Democrats shared the values of Reverend Jeremiah Wright. In Kentucky, more than half said he did. But even in the bluegrass state, when asked who they would support in November, 50% of those voters surveyed picking Senator Obama over 32% for Senator McCain. We turn now to our own Eugene Robinson, associate editor and columnist at The Washington Post. Good evening, Gene.
Evening, Keith.
So is Senator Obama's white working-class voter problem more spin, or is it not as bad as it had been previously interpreted, or what is it?
I think you'd say all the above. I think we talked a lot about it without really understanding it or trying to put it into any perspective. The question really never was, did white working class voters prefer Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama? It's would they in fact defect from the Democratic Party in the fall to vote for John McCain over Barack Obama? Did he have a particular problem there? And what we know now from the numbers in Kentucky is that about a third of these white working class voters say, you know, I wouldn't vote for Barack Obama, I'll vote for John McCain. Well, guess what? In 2004, about a third of the white working class voters in Kentucky actually did vote for George W. Bush over John Kerry. So it's certainly not a problem unique to Barack Obama. It may be a problem that the Democratic Party is having right now.
And in terms of the last two blowout victories, although Oregon was pretty big victory for him last night, obviously those final scores in Kentucky and West Virginia were huge. Was there, I know this has been said a couple of times, well, maybe West Virginia was a possibility for the Democrats no matter what in the fall, but is there any expectation that Kentucky is more than just a feel-good moment for Senator Clinton? Any expectation that the Democrats are likely to take one or both of those states in particular?
No, not really. You know, West Virginia is a possibility, at least a theoretical possibility. Kentucky, I don't think anybody really believes Kentucky is possible. You know, I do think Obama might have considered spending more time in Kentucky, even in what was clearly going to be a lost cause. So he could have been seen spending more time in Kentucky, and it could have been seen sending the message that he cares about those voters and everything. But then again, you know, you do that too much and it looks like you're George H.W. Bush and holding up a sign saying, message, I care. And it is a certain inauthenticity that manages to convey itself too.
This, to me, seems to be the important part that's being left out of this conversation all the way through. Is there any way to measure to what degree the whole talk about white working class voters is an act of enabling, of giving people who are indeed voting out of racism, whether they're conscious of it or not, a rationalization to say, no, that's not why I won't vote for him. See, I have this research material that says people like me don't vote for him.
Right. I think the answer to your question is no. I don't think there's any way of measuring the extent to which this is an enabling device. But I'm not sure overall it actually matters in terms of the result. I think people who are not going to vote for Barack Obama because he's black are not going to, you know, get to the voting booth and say, darn, I just can't think of a good rationale that's socially acceptable, so I guess I have to vote for him. I think they're going to not vote for him and you know, not talk about it or whatever. But they're going to do what they're going to do. So I think the result is the same. But we have managed to kind of construct this whole framework theory around what, at least in part, probably has a somewhat simpler explanation. We'll see.
Is that true of this whole campaign at this point, that largely it exists because we in the media say it does? If, as I just suggested to Richard, everybody said, yeah, there's no story to see here, we're going home, Hillary Clinton's campaign would be over?
Right. Every week now, for quite some time, if you know, we sit around and we say, well, it's over. You know, it's inexorable. It's going to happen. Obama's going to do it. There's no way she can catch up. And then comes another primary, and we kind of all talk for a while as if it could change the ground, but saying to ourselves at the same time, this isn't really going to change anything, and then we do it again the following week. It's kind of insane, actually.
And we cover it for 8 hours in a row live.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are a little bleary-eyed right now.
Our own Eugene Robinson, also, of course, of the Washington Post. Great thanks, and we'll see you a week from Tuesday, I guess. Thanks, sir.
Right. Pleasant dreams.